Hey guys, it's Tinker here today, and I'm going to be showing you how to make your own virtual library. This is really a fantastic way to have a visual tracking of all your books, especially when you don't have that list on you. I've used this a few times to save myself from buying duplicates, so very handy for that. And if you're somebody who wants to share this with others, it's also fantastic for that as well. So yeah, today I will be showing you how to make this. Now, it's pretty simple, it's pretty easy. I will say it's a little bit tedious to go through, but once you get it up and get it going, once you've got all your books in, it's super easy, it's super fun, and I love looking at virtual libraries like this. But yeah, I have split my virtual library into 3 sections. We've got the reading and physical library, so this is my current read, and you can see there's a tab here for physical library and then a library list. We'll get to that in a second, but the next section here is my to be read and my wish list. You can see the 2 tabs there. And then these are the books that I've officially read. These are the books that I've reread. So you can see not all of the books have ended up in here. And then there are some books that I did not finish. Now, with the physical library, this is all of the books that are physically on my shelf. The difference between the physical library and the read section is some of the books that are on the read section are books that I don't have on my library. Now, I haven't added many of them because I cannot recall off the top of my head. Majority of the books I have read are either ones that I have on my shelf and have read numerous times, or they are books that I've read a long time ago and have not remembered to put on my list. But this is a great way for people who perhaps borrow books from libraries regularly, or just don't always own the books. Maybe you do book clubs and you swap books and things like that. This is a fantastic place to keep this recorded. And yeah, it's pretty handy, pretty simple. Now, we do have another list where all of the books are, and that's what this library list is. So this is all of the books. Now, I don't have all of the information in here, but you can change it however you please, and don't worry, I will show you how to do that later. But this is all of the books, every book on my list. As you can see here, you can't tell if I've read this book or not, but I can tell you I have. If we open it here, you'll see that I have read it. So that's what we're going to do today. So if you would like to know how to make your own, I will take you through a step-by-step of how I've made my own. And if you have any questions, comments, queries on how you can change it to be a certain way that you like, definitely chuck them down below and I will try my best to answer them. But let's get to it. So here we have an empty template. It looks very similar to the one we had before, except this one is not filled out at all. We have all the same tabs. You can see here, if I were to click on this one, it's all pretty much the same. If I were to go into the library list, you could have a look, and here we have the book we did not finish, the book we have reread, the book that we've read, book in our wish list, the to be read book, the book that we own, and finally the book that is in progress, as well as how many pages we have read. So you might be wondering how we actually get to that. And I'm about to take you step by step through every single part of the process, but one thing I want you to remember along the way is if you don't like a certain thing I've done for my virtual library, you don't have to do it for yours. You can create it however you like. I'm just going to take you through how I've done it for mine, and from there you can use what I've taught you to make your own. So your page isn't going to look like this, already filled out and whatnot. So your page is probably going to look something a little bit more like this, a little bit more blank, a little bit more empty. But we're going to add the title in here, virtual library template, because this is the template. And right off the bat, I'm going to go over here and change the settings. I personally despise the table of contents. If it's something you like, you can keep it on. I do not like it at all. And the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make it full width. Just makes the information easier to see. But now we're going to go in and add a database. So I just type in data and we're going to go with the gallery view. Doesn't matter which one you pick, but gallery view and a new database. We're going to call this VL for virtual library. Keep in mind what you do call it. It is important. But here, this is where we put in our books. So title for obviously the title. We're going to rename this tag to genre. I generally don't keep the date created page thing. I don't use it, I don't need it, I don't care for it, but I'm going to add in all of the other things we use. Some of these are going to be a little bit more obvious, like author and series name, they're pretty obvious, With the series name, I do keep the number of what the book is in the series name. So if it's the second book in a title, I will call it Series 2. And if it's the third, I'll call it Series 3. It will become important later, I'll explain why, but yes, from here we add the status. So I only have, I think, 5 wish lists to be read in progress, read, and did not finish. If you have any other statuses you want to add, definitely feel free to do that. You can also change the colour of them if you do not like the colours that are already here. These are just the ones that are automatically assigned to it. Now we are going to add the checkbox, and this is for do we own a copy? Pretty simple, yes or no, do we own a copy? The next one is another checkbox, and this one's again pretty simple, have we reread the book? Now if you don't want to have reread be a checkbox, you can put it in with the status, but I have it separately. But I also put in the publication year. Again, any of these things that I add, you don't have to, you can get rid of them. The date, you could make this the date that it was published, but I put it as the date last read. So when did I finish the book? The first number here is how many days it took me to read. Again, if you don't want to keep this information, you don't have to. The second one I add here is the rating. I am a little bit slack when it comes to rating. I don't always put it in, but it is good for, if you feel very passionate or dispassionate about a book. The next two I add are current page and total pages. I do call the total pages just pages, but this is important because we add a formula, and this formula tells you how far through a book you are, and this is really handy for the book you are currently in progress. So to do that, we just do current page divided by the total pages, I guess, and we turn that into a fraction. So if we go up here, I like to keep it as the bar chart. You just simply change it to percentage and you are good to go. So that's all of the details I add to my book. If you want to add more, definitely feel free to do that. And if you want to get rid of some of the ones I've added, again, definitely feel free to do that. It's up to you how you organize your virtual library. But yeah, let's go to now prettifying a little bit. I'm not sure prettifying is a word, but we're going to go with it. So here I just added a call out. We are going to add the title physical library and a little dividing section thing, and we're just going to drag and drop the database into it. Now I am going to duplicate the view that we've got. So we're going to name this one. Oh, here we are going to name it reading. So this is what we're currently reading. And then we are going to go over here and we are going to call this one physical library. And then we are going to duplicate it one last time, duplicate, and we are going to call this library list. So this is going to be a table view, and this will basically contain all of the books that are in the whole of the virtual library. And I like to just cut it down a little bit so that when we are looking at it, we don't have all this information sort of overloading us. Again, you can pick which information you like, which ones you don't like, by just right-clicking and pressing hide. So now we are going to go here and we are actually going to filter by status. This is how we have all of the books just be for the section we want. So here we filtered by status and reading, and then over here we are going to filter again over here, but we are going to filter by own a copy. So it must be checked for the book to be here. So you can see the book we're currently reading, we don't own the copy. But if we go in here and click own a copy, and now if we go back to the physical library, it shows up. And again, it'll show up in that list. Every book will show up in that list, whether you own it or not. So now let's add a new one called book. Yep, let's just call it book in our physical library, and you can see it's not in our reading section because we've not clicked it, but it is in our physical library list. So let's move on to the next section. So another call out, let's go with the TBR and wish list. Let me spell that correctly, wish list, beautiful. and I like adding these little dividers. It just makes me happy. Now you could type in database here, but what we're going to do is, yes, link to existing database here, and doesn't matter which one you click, we can always change it. So it's just copied the library list, and what we're going to do is we are going to change it. Let me figure out how. Here we go, edit view. We're going to change the name to TBR, and we're going to just change it back to a gallery view. So now it'll display as the gallery rather than the table. So if you ever make a mistake and put the wrong one, that is how you do it. Edit it, go to layout, and change it. Now we want to also change it, I forgot to do this earlier, change it so that all of the layouts show the card view as the page cover. I have forgotten to add the cover to any of these books, but all you need to do is go in and press add cover once you open each little page, and you can add the book cover as the cover within each page. So now we are going to go here, we're going to go status, and we want this one to be red, and then we're going to go to wishlist and do the same thing, add status and wishlist. So now if I add a book here, you can see it says wishlist, and we're going to call this book 2. So we've got book 1, we want book 2. So you can see here all of the books are showing up, and maybe we have book 3. For some reason we didn't get book 2, we own book 1 and 3 of the series, and now we have book 2 on our wish list. We will come back to that in a minute, do not worry, but for now we are going to finish setting up the page. We are going to do the read and did not finish section. So this is actually reread and did not finish, but I didn't want to put 3 titles, sorry. So we are going to duplicate this view and just slide it on down here. That's another way you can create a database, is just copying one that already exists. So we're going to change this from to be read to read. So these are the books we have read, and this wish list one here we are going to rename. We are going to call it reread. Now this is where it gets a little different, so we're going to add a different filter. So reread is checked, and we're going to delete this filter here because we don't need that one. So only books that we've reread will show up here. And now I'm going to duplicate it one last time, and we're going to put D and F, and I'll show you how to change it back to the status again. So go to filter, delete this one we don't need, add filter, filter by status, and did not finish. So it's really easy to change out all the filters and things like that. If you add a new way of keeping track of certain information in your book, you can definitely do that. You can do, if you want to organize it by highest rating to lowest rating, you can do things like that. It's however you please. So here you're going to see we're going to add a book to the reread section here. It's already checked, but we're also going to add it to our read group because, well, we have read it. So now if we go back, you can see here we've got 2 books in red, but only one of them has been reread. Now, let's have a look at our library list. You can see here all of the different names of the books, but what we need to do is organize by author and then organize by series name. This is where I was saying before series name is important, and the reason why is I will go through and put the series name in. For example, I'm looking around for any books that are on my desk. I actually put all my books away, but Interview with a Vampire, right? I know there are a couple of other books in the series. It's not quite a series, but there are a couple other books. I would call this book Interview with a Vampire, perhaps Interview 1. And then the second book in the series I would call Interview 2 in the series name, so that they would show up in order of what's the recommended reading order, I guess. And you can see here that I've labeled book 1. It is in the series, we've named the series book. It is number 1 in the book series. I hope that makes sense. Please let me know down below if any of that doesn't make sense, but basically the series name, if it's the first book in the series, you just put a little number 1 after it. If it's the second one, you put a number 2, and that just puts everything in order for you to make it easier to find because yeah, I organize everything by author and then series name. As you can see here, I'm just going to go through to it over here as well. I do it in the first call out, so the reading, physical library and library list, and the read, reread, and did not finish. But also another thing I like to display with all of the books is the title, obviously, the author, and the genre. The only thing I do differently here in the reading, you will see I am going to add progression. So this is just where I can see how far along through this particular book that I am. The other ones, if you haven't read them, you're obviously not started them, and if you finished them or did not finish them, maybe not as important to display. You can add that to the did not finish if you wish, but that's it. That's how you make the virtual library. So I hope that has helped inspire you to create yours.